everybody. I am your host, Michelle Lawrence, and you are watching Black Tea, an interview series all about Black women in advertising presented by Muse by Clio. Today, I am pleased to be joined by Jessica Ransom. Hey, Jessica.
Hello. Hi.
Uh, Hi. Cool background. Please tell the people what you do and where you're based.
Okay, my name again is Jessica Ransom. I am based in Los Angeles. I'm the executive producer and managing partner of the Gig. And also, my other job is I am a producer at DLA, Deutsch LA. How did I get in advertising? The same old ad age tale of, you knew someone and they helped you get a job. So, which is kind of sad, but it's true. That's how I got into advertising.
I
And I
mean,
hopefully change that game.
not at all sad, but totally. Were you already interested in advertising? Is this a first career for you?
I would say I was coming out of, I was a master control operator at MTV. Yeah, that's quality control. That's what I used to do.
Okay.
And I met someone that worked at J. Walter Thompson at the time, or Wonderman Thompson now. And then I started as a PA there and then became associate. And then I went 6 years into reality television from there. And
Wow.
then I came back into commercial world on the vendor side about 2015. And now I'm on the agency side. So I have a pretty eclectic and long career in production.
That all sounds really, really fun, actually. That's a really fun career path. So, totally, it seems like you don't shy away from pivoting and making changes when you see something interesting.
Oh yeah, no, it's something where so right now, like I say, I'm the executive producer and managing partner of the Gig Media, which is my production company, and I also work at Deutsch. So I am taking my TV side and my film side, and I'm doing this as like a passion, a love project, and then I also work at the agency. So yeah, it's something where I try to combine both worlds.
How are you breathing? That sounds like a lot.
Let's say perfect example. So I'm shooting for Netflix tomorrow, and I've been up since 5 a.m. prepping for that shoot. And
Wow.
in this call, I'm about to go back into prep. I actually have a pre-pro call right after this. So yeah, it's a pretty wild thing. So yeah, basically, don't say I work New York and LA hours. I'm usually up at like 7 a.m. and then I kind of 7 a.m. because of New York, and then I wrap my day at like 7 p.m.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So the gig media, what made you want to start your own production company? And what do you feel like is kind of like the difference between your production company and others?
Okay, so what made us start our company, it goes back to Layla, my best friend, and I have always really been a big fan of diversity. So we basically decided that we want to not only, because we were doing this show called The Gig Series, where we're talking about movies and talking about diversity on screen. We're like, you know what, as producers, we should actually start creating content of our own. And on top of that, hire behind the scenes to reflect what we're preaching about on camera. So that's kind of how it was born. And then from there, we do everything from soup to nuts. So we do scripting and ideation, directing, line producing, and post production. So we basically expand and contrast depending on the project, depending on the scope of work. And then from there, what makes us different is like number one, we this summer we started the Hire Black Talent campaign, which we help recruiting for Black talent and all across the board in production. We've hired over, I would say, 30 people already with our campaign. That I would say the biggest thing with us is that like we live and breathe diversity. We've always been about this. We've been about this years ago before the race revolution this summer. We
Right.
were already doing like this type of work. So I feel like y'all are just catching up with us right now. Like this is what we've been doing this for a long time and preaching this for a long time. And our production company reflects that. Niecy Nash even retweeted. She's like, I've never seen so many women on set before. And then she tweeted our company because she was so shocked about how many women we had behind the scenes as DPs, as ACs, as gaffers, as grips. So that's something which I'm proud of. And that is our focus of our company. And we also create diverse content too. So that's what we're about.
That is a huge contribution to the industry. So, I mean, props, dude. We need that. Like, people don't understand the importance of the folks behind the scenes and how that factors into the work. All of it. So that's really dope. Niecy Nash is cool. I love her.
Yeah, we did Netflix's Netflix has a channel called Most, which is for like LGBTQ, and we did a video about her and falling in love and her new marriage. So it was very sweet. So it was awesome. She was great to work with too. Fantastic person. Love her.
Yeah. Awesome. How do you feel like being in touch with that community, but also just being a Black woman in our industry has kind of factored into your work? Besides the push for diversity, what do you think it what do you think it gives you? What angle do you feel like it provides to the work that you make?
Well, as a Black queer woman, I already have that kind of angle. So, like, we talk about diversity in terms of like BIPOC and LGBTQ and hiring, but I'm also really big on body positivity and age diversity. I would never forget, I hired an editor that was 70 years old, and everyone was like, "Who is this old man in the office?" And I was like, "Are you happy with his work? Is he on
Yeah,
time? Is he hitting the creative goals? Then what's the problem that he has gray hair?" Like,
right.
everyone was like up in arms, and I think that like is something where, as a Black queer woman, I think I'm always left out of the conversation. So I decided to include more people in the conversation now that I'm able to in this position as an executive producer. So I think that answered your question correctly, but that's basically the angle where I'm coming from right now.
Yeah, you're using your powers for good, and that's amazing. Our industry can be very Peter Panish, and it is weird. It's like,
But perfect example, like like directors, for instance. Like, I think the
yeah,
biggest job for a producer and for an ad agency is directing. So I hear a lot of time, I'm like, well, they don't have Apple on their spot, so we can't hire them. I was like, you know, the people that have Apple on their spot were able to take advantage of those opportunities at the time. Just
right.
because someone have an Apple on their reel doesn't mean that they can't do the job. So I feel like I'm trying as a producer, I'm talking to creatives, I'm talking to people and say, hey, look, this BIPOC, like this Black woman could do this job. Just because she doesn't have Apple yet doesn't mean like she can't do the type of work. Look at her work, study it, you know, give her the opportunity, maybe help her a little bit more along the way. Because this white dude didn't get there at the top for but no help along the way either. So I think that that's my biggest thing is that like I try to push even in my process when working with other creatives, like, hey guys, take a look at these people, give these people opportunities, and not just look for like the cookie cutter, like we were, you know, they worked at anonymous content, so now they can work on this. You know, maybe give the Lord, maybe give someone else the chance to do something.
Yeah, I love that. What do you say to the young Black women in advertising who see all of that going on and think, why should I try to get into this industry? Like, imposter syndrome is something that is really huge in our community. And I'm wondering, what would you say to someone to convince them, or not even just to convince them, what would you say to them, period, regarding this industry? Someone who was trying to get into our industry that maybe was struggling with that.
I mean, I feel a lot of the times in terms of hiring, I don't even know if they allow someone to get in if they're not from a certain background already. If you didn't go to the right ad school and you don't have the right connections, you can't get in the industry. Like, and I know there's things like the One Club and also Pool House and like I say, the gig media that are trying to change that. So I feel like even to asking someone trying to get in or struggling with it, it's like how do you even know about these opportunities because they don't advertise them. You know, like I said, the old story. Like I knew someone to get in the industry. So I think number one is that it comes from the top. It comes from people that are hiring. You have to stop looking at someone like, okay, so they only produce for television. That means they can't produce commercials. No, producing is producing is producing. I can say for a fact, good producer, they need 1 month to understand the process of a company. And then after that 1 month, they can go on and do it. I'm sorry, you can produce a feature film, you can produce a TV show. That means you can't produce a commercial. Get out of here. Like I get really angry when I hear people like they must have ad experience. They must have worked at this agency. That's bullshit. Sorry, 100% bullshit. If you know how to produce, you can produce anything. You just need it's just a learning curve and a learning process. So when you don't give people these opportunities, if you don't reach out to them and you only stay within the little box, which is the sad part of what our industry does, you can't move forward and we can't change the game. And people that are frustrated trying to get in, it will never happen because they won't even know about it. Like I said, like people are doing great work now to kind of change this, but there's more that needs to be done. There needs to be a change of mindset. There needs people to look beyond just the reel and the resume and see people's talents and they're out there. I have so many friends on TV that would kill it in ad world, but they can't even get in. They won't even give them an interview. They're like, oh, but they haven't worked at like Crispin, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Stop.
Yeah, I love that.
I
Wow.
yeah.
I mean, I'm in alignment, especially as someone who, this is my second career. I had started out as an art teacher
Mhm.
and was trying to find my way in. And, I got a whole master's degree about it. And so I go back and forth on regretting that or whatever, but when the student loan bill comes through, but I do love the connections that I made coming out of it. And in the end, it was the connections that helped me to actually, get a foot in the door instead of, maybe my relevant experience that isn't in a traditional sense. So it is still a huge problem with our industry, being willing to find people from diverse backgrounds as well, and really take the time to, or give them a sec really just to get familiarized with the industry. people want our resumes to be our future job description. Like nobody wants to give you that shot, which is, unfortunate. So it's really dope to see the gig doing that and you spreading that message. I think that's really dope.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, like the getting in the industry, that's a whole other discussion, talking about imposter syndrome and how, and also microaggressions. But in terms of, I'm more like, let's get people in the door, and then from there, let's try to figure these things out, and work up and try to change the company culture, which I even hate that term because that is also isolating. But it's the truth though. Like I think that like I don't even see how you can get to how can black people even get to the gate, but they don't even know the gate is even there, they're like wandering around in the dark. So that's my biggest issue. I think that's where I'm like, let's get us to the gate, let's get us in these job positions, and then from there change the landscape of the company and the game, and stop things like imposter syndrome and cut down on microaggressions and whatnot.
Yeah. Talk to me about company culture. Why you think that's isolating?
Why I don't like the term company culture is because it stems from and mainly the people at the top, which are mainly white, and what they view of society, and it doesn't really give an opening for other people. And also, I feel a lot of the company culture is about, like I said, it's all about like how cool you are. To me, it's very high school. Company culture to me is high school. It's about how do you fit in to what vibe this company is giving. So that's why I don't like it, because it's like, just because someone doesn't fit that vibe doesn't mean they're a good worker or a good person that can be beneficial to the company. Doesn't mean that they could give a different perspective and a mindset to the work, especially when it comes to creatives. Like you need creatives from all walks of life to really make a really good spot, and to really make, to push your work forward. So I feel like why I hate company culture is because it is something where it's high school. It's cool. It's like, how cool are you? How amazing are you? And then how you fit in with our vibe. And like, there's some vibes that are like, we have a conservative vibe. Some vibes are like, oh, we're a surfer vibe, or something. Like, depending on the company, you have your vibe, and that's bullshit. I'm sorry. It should be about, are you good? Can you do the work? Okay, work for me. Like it shouldn't be about like what we deem as someone that we could get along with. I work as like, if they can do the job, they're hired. I mean, they get along with them as long as they're not like mean or something. But it's someone that is just cool. And like I said, I can see they're not crazy. Like then it works. So I rambled on that answer, but I think you got some points in there.
There's some stuff in there. Absolutely. Okay, so you have achieved so much already in your career. I'm wondering if there is a goal, a dream, an ambition in your career that you have not yet realized.
I want to be a showrunner. Point blank. Period. That's the goal. So show running is something which I've always wanted to do. That's what I'm, working towards with the gig. I want to do a showrunner and have my company, create original content and work with my business partner. That's our goal. Our goal is she wants to get into directing and also executive producing. I want to get into show running, producer, writer, create content, create feature films and television shows. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm working towards.
Okay, love that. What are your dream Black women dinner party guests if you had to pick, let's say, 5?
5. Well, Shonda Rhimes, because I'm obsessed with her. I would love to be like the queer Shonda Rhimes. Shonda Rhimes is like my number 1. I can just have dinner with her and I'm good. And then Issa, Ava, of course Oprah. You gotta have Oprah. And then the 5th one, probably Viola Davis will have your other one. Yeah.
Okay.
So, she's doing some work with her production company now. That's I think it's pretty cool. So I would.
That's definitely like for a showrunner that makes sense. It's a powerhouse, TV powerhouse.
Yep.
Black woman dinner. I love
exactly.
that. What are your favorite sounds right now? It could be music or just silence or anything. What do you love to listen to right now?
My favorite sounds would be the sound of production. Like when they say martini, that is my favorite sound. That means I'm done for the day, and I can actually possibly almost done for the day, and I can grab a actual martini soon.
Is that like a cool producer like code word? I didn't know about that.
Martini's like we're the last shot. We're the last shot of the day. So, yeah. So we say martini. It's like yay, that means I could do it. And then obviously the popping of champagne is also my favorite.
You're a good time. That tells me you're a good
Yep,
time.
yep, that's my favorite sound. Like, ooh, where's the mimosas?
So, you have a company, which just it blows my mind whenever anyone, gets that up and off the ground. I'm wondering, what is the piece of work that you are the most proud of, and why?
I would say the work that I'm most proud of with the gig is the latest series we did with, like I talked about, with Niecy Nash and with Netflix the most. And we featured her and Joel Kim Booster and a few other people, and it was fantastic work. Jacqueline was also great. She's the executive producer for Dear White People. Yeah, it was a great I would say campaign and series on just LGBTQ people and doing for Pride Month and just focusing on different aspects of the community. And as a Black queer woman, it was a dream project for me to interview and talk to all of these major, icons in our community and sit down with them and just kind of just like film them in their natural moments and capturing them in such a positive and a beautiful way. And to this day, like I cried at all the videos. So I think it's an amazing campaign. I'm very proud of that. Layla directed it and I was the EP on it. And we just, we vibed it out. We shot at the Netflix studios and it was a really good time.
That's awesome. Wow. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I feel like you have just you're a firecracker girl. You have so much going on, and you are championing on so many fronts for the culture. And I think it's just a beautiful and amazing thing. So I want to thank you so much for spending this time. And I just want to say to the folks watching, thank you so much for watching. This has been another episode of Black Tea. And please go to musebycleo.com/black tea to check out the rest of the episodes. Thank you again so much, Jessica.
Yeah, thank you for having me.